and also actual suicide carried out by students. The themes of depression and suicide were trending. What we do know also is that the Ashanti region tops the charts as far as suicide is concerned. So is this just par for the course, or are our young ones afflicted with so much in this day and age? Joining me on the line now to have this very important discussion, I've got two wonderful ladies who add some flesh to the conversation. I've got Madam Victoria de Graft Ejay, Head of Counseling Department at KNUST. Also joining us for this conversation, Gloria Boatima Ando. She's a suicide prevention activist, CEO of Wenglo Family International. Ladies, hello, good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us on this very important discussion. Victoria, I'll start off with you on this one. Again, Victoria de Graft Ejay is the Head of Counseling Department at KNUST. Just some 2 weeks ago, we caught wind of the unfortunate incident involving a student who, was fed up with life and wanted to take his own life. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But off the back of that, a lot of discussion went on about the state of affairs when it comes to mental health of students, not even just students at KNUST, but students all over Ghana, and in fact, the youth. What is going on from where you sit? Are we seeing an increase in the number of depressed youth, or is that just a myth?
Hello.
Hello, Victoria, can you hear me?
Yes, I heard you.
Yes.
But I didn't get the last, your comment or your question properly.
I wanted to find out from where you sit, with your expertise in this field, are we seeing a rise in the number of depressed youth in this country?
Well, I would say to some extent. First of all, let me say a good morning to your cherished listeners, and then thanks for having me. Back to the question. I would say that to some extent is because of late the reporting has been much increased, and that is why we hear a lot of it. But it's been something that has been around. People who have a way of coping when it comes to stresses and all that, and everybody has his own mechanisms to move on when things are tough. And I would say that again, it depends on how we look at it. But as we talk about the responses and then the reporting, then we would say that to some extent it's often heard now that people with some challenges that come, the others will talk about taking their lives or have suicidal ideation. And so basically that is the trend, what is happening to some of the students, our young ones, when it comes to issues of life, coping with challenges, and other issues, social, academic, relationship, all these things come to play. And it depends on how we look at it. But because of late, the reportage is a bit more increasing. That is why we hear of the increasing nature of it.
In fact, my next question was going to be, what are some of the reasons or the topmost reasons that young ones come in for counseling? You touched on a few things. You talk about relationships, the economic situation. Well, what is it really that is driving young people to depression? What, if you could pick the top three things and expand on that for us, please?
Okay. One of the major issues would be the social aspect. And as I mentioned, relationship comes close. And when I talk about relationships, not just amorous relationships, but socially in the family setting, there's always an underpinning issue that makes the young ones vulnerable And so anything that comes up across that becomes a bit stressing, triggers, and then it makes the issues a bit hyped, and then they go through that. And so I would say that first of all, the social setting, the economic situation, then leads to the relationship. So basically, from home, when you see that there's some dysfunctional home issues, it affects them to the point that anytime there is any relationship issues, it really triggers. But for students, most of the issues would be the economic. Right. The priority ones would be the economic issues financially. People are also having a lot of crises when it comes to taking care of themselves in school and paying of fees and all that. Then the relationship issues also come in.
Right.
Others are into attitudes like betting, and when they are addicted to it, it becomes a bit stressful for them. Right. And to the point that some would even want to end up in having some suicidal ideations.
Let me bring in Gloria at this point. Gloria Boatima Ando is a suicide prevention activist, CEO, Wenglo Family International. Gloria, again, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I wanted to find out from yourself, are you seeing an increase in the number of attempted suicides and successful suicides from where you sit?
All right. So just like Madam just said, it's because now a lot of people are talking about it and they are reporting the issues. I've come to realize that aside the fact that relationship, financial issues, the very most important point I want to make on this is when it comes to exam failure.
Mm-hmm.
We realize that most parents are pushing kids to do their best. Yes, we know that for kids, every parent wants an A student. Every parent wants to say that, hey, you need to be that doctor, you need to be that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as an adolescent, this is the age where they struggle to figure out themselves. So when they are pushed to do subjects that they are not really interested in, and then it becomes tough, then they are like, what's the point? Let's take a medical student as an example, like somebody who wants to become a medical doctor. You know, when you, at the point when you write your exams and you don't pass, you're supposed to repeat. And at that stage, a lot of things bottle up as an adolescent or as a youth. Okay? This is a case whereby you are being repeated, you're going to be among friends, and some friends will be laughing at you. Parents might even get angry with you for not studying and all that. And so far as these pressures keep coming on these cases, trust me, the number of the number of students that get depressed will increase, because we need to accept the fact that this is how good my child is. This is the point. This is the area my child is very good at. Why don't I develop my child in that area? By pushing that child to become the doctor you parents want out of him. You want a lawyer out of him. You want a nurse out of him. You want this out of him. Have you ever thought of engaging your child, asking your child, upon all the subjects that you have taken, which one do you think you are very interested in and you would want to help your child?
So what Madame Victoria says is true then, that the issue of relationships, so be it familial relationships or whatever it is, they have such a deep bearing on the mental health of the young ones. So you say that the pressure from parents even can drive some young ones to suicide.
Yeah.
Hello, Gloria.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, I was going to say, so that makes it that the pressures, you say, from parents is driving students to suicide.
Yes, please.
Wow. That's something to certainly think about.
I want to use myself as an example. So in school, I used to really struggle with accounting, but this is a case whereby I was asked to do business in school. I really struggled, okay? And at a point growing up, I lost my dad, and it was also a way of me, because I was close to him, I said, let me just end it as well. But after that incident, I found like I figured myself out and was comfortable with a particular course that I'm I'm championing now. Do you understand? So yes, it's okay for everybody to want to be the doctor and all that, but I think that parents need to look at that. If not, these are the cases that will be coming up on campuses. Okay, you want the best. Yes, they are doctors. There are people who are very sharp. They can do all that.
Right.
But let's try and engage our children. Find out which one is the best for them. And I mean, aside the prestige, everybody wants to say that my daughter or my son is a doctor or incoming doctor and all that. It's just for the name. Okay,
Yeah.
people can actually be other things and be better.
Absolutely.
So let's engage the children. I mean, that's my the very passionate aspect of everything. If not, students in school will end up always giving up because parents will not understand that this is the subject I want to take. But they said, no, this is what I want you to do. And it's a stressor.
A very important point for sure this morning. And parents, if you're listening to us, I think you can take some nuggets away from what Gloria is saying. I'll bring in Madam Victoria once more on this one. Now, when this issue of attempted murder was making the rounds on social media, we saw that attempted suicide, a story was making the rounds on social media. Something that came out from a lot of the students was that, you know, they're looking for more morale, more enjoyment in school and all of that. I'll come to that. You are the head of the counseling department. Do you see students taking advantage of this facility? Do students know that they can come and freely speak and readily speak to counselors on campus?
Yes, thank you so much. Just to add a quick one to what my sister just said.
Yes.
As I mentioned earlier on, the familiar relationship is very crucial. And that is why a lot of students have these challenges. And I'm happy she talked about her own experience. You have a lot of students who are in programs that parents chose for them. And so they have to satisfy their parents. And again, there are parents who are absentee parents. They just come in, pay the fees, and you have to do whatever. So there's no relationship. If they have challenges, they don't have anybody to talk with. And so they struggle. At the end of the day, if they don't pass, they fear that if I don't pass, my fees will not be paid. And so if I'm not passing, I'm not telling anybody. There are people who may be even withdrawn from school or repeated, but because they can't even open up, they keep to themselves. And then it adds on to that depressive tendencies. And the result is what we see around. So it's very important for the home. That relationship then is very important. Even if the child is failing, he should have that opportunity to communicate and relate with a significant other, so that he will be supported to move on. Now, coming to the fact that the counselors are available for students to talk, the centers are there. The counselors are always available to students. The numbers are out there. When they come to school for the first year, the freshers orientation is given, where the counseling center has a slot to meet with the students, college bases, faculty bases, department bases, even the college associations will organize programs. The counselors are always there. Then you get to the student affairs units, where the counseling center works closely with. Even we have safe arrival, having them come so that they will, before they come to school, they have everything that it takes. Even on their admission letter, it is stated that you have a counseling center. This is the hotline. You can connect with them. So even the parents or guardians are away. So the doors are always open. You have college counselors. We even train peer counselors. Their own colleagues, we know that it's easy for people to open up to their peers. And so we have trained peer counselors who are students themselves, and they serve as a direct link between the students and then the center, so that if they have issues, they can quickly connect with them. They go on hospital visitations, hall visitations, they go on class visitations. We train other people as skilled helpers, even staff we train, so that we want to make the services readily available to them. And so our doors are always open. And I'm sure in all the institutions, Legon and other places, you have the counseling center open to every student. And this time we don't stay in the office for students to come. We go out because we are looking at the preventive more than the curative. Okay. And that is the thing for now. So we know a lot of challenges are going on. They are going through a lot. And so we don't want to wait for things to happen, but we go out there to reach out to them. So our doors are always opened to them.
Well, and Gloria, I'll come back to you on this one. We only have about 2 minutes and then we have to wrap up. What is the solution? How do we bring down these numbers? What practical advice can you give to the youth today to empower them? The situation might look bleak, but as we often say, suicide cannot be the response. Although for many, it looks as though it's the only option. Let's give our young ones some hope and inspiration this morning.
Thank you very much. I believe that we need to be each other's keeper. You see, when the video of that gentleman came out, people were sharing, saying a whole sort of thing. This is someone who attempted suicide. And definitely he's going to see this video. So these are news that we don't need to share or want to talk about it and want to make the person feel that that person was not wise and other things. Yes, this is the time like students and friends need to come around, encourage each other, because no matter what, life is not promised to be smooth. Trust me. Sometimes we go through the hard way, sometimes we go through the so whichever way, you need to build your mental fortitude and get through it, because you're not going to be there forever. It will change. You came for level 100, you move on to level 200, you will definitely get to level 300, 400, and you will be done. So whichever problem or whatever it is that you think that is so challenging, stay focused. And I'm a Christian, I'll ask that you also pray as well. And know that a lot of people are looking up to you. Your parents are looking up to you. You can't let that slide. Just stay focused. Be you. Don't let anything push you down or want to make you feel like you are no one. This is the time we need to be there for each other. If you're a student, if you're a mother, if you are a co-worker, the only thing you can do to help somebody is to be there for the person in the lowest moment. And that is what we need as a country, as an organization, and as students.
Thank you so much for that, Gloria. Very passionate indeed. And we'll end with a final thought from Madame Victoria. Same to you. Some inspiration for our young ones this morning to take with them as they journey throughout the day.
Yes, I would say that life is a struggle, but it's interesting. And so there is no way you go through life and everything will be rosy. So I would encourage them that they should be prepared, that when challenges come, the difference is that you are able to surmount the challenge, but you can't do it alone. And so you have to reach out to people who can help you. And that is why the counselors are there, your lecturers are around, your friends are around. Speak. Tell somebody something. Sure. Apart from what our sister just said, that you need to be your brother's keeper. When you also have a challenge, we always say that the problem shared is half solved. Speak out so that somebody will help you, so that you will be able to stand. Because at the end of the day, you will look back and then you would be able to tell somebody that I went through this and I've been able to come this far. We need everybody alive. And so we have to work at it. Suicide, I always say, is not an option. It's never and can never be an option. Please open up and let's share our thoughts, let's share our problems, and through that we'll be able to help each other and move on. Our young ones, we need you, so please remember we are there for you. Open up and you would be able to get assistance. In fact, one thing I want to say for the last time is that when you open up is a sign of courage, not weakness.
I
so
think
show that sign of courage by asking for help.
I think that's a great way to end it. Vulnerability is a sign of strength. Not everybody is able to open up and talk about their issues. But ladies, we'll certainly have a part 2 on this one because, after school, you move on to the working environment and things can get even tougher. We need to fortify ourselves as, young working professionals and professionals as a whole. So I'm sure when we call on you next week, we'll be able to have some more dialogue on how all of us in the working field can protect our mental health. But Madame Victoria de Graft Ejay, Head of Counseling Department, KNUST, thank you for your time this morning. And
thank
also
you so much too.
Gloria Boatima Ando, Suicide Prevention Activist, CEO, Wenglo Family International. Thank you as well, Gloria. Very grateful for your time.
All right.
Ooh, yeah. Got air in my lungs, I'm so lucky. I got shoes on my feet, I'm so lucky. Got a roof over my head, I'm lucky. I got water to drink, I'm so lucky. Got light in my eyes,